Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about channeling. Channeling is a fabulous way to connect, to link to the afterlife, to all the dimensions around us. And what I'm going to give to you today is a way to practice that. But first, I'm going to read you something that I channeled a while ago about channeling, a definition that I love. I save it because it is a fabulous way to explain channeling. So here's what Spirit said to me. Channeling is allowing that all that once was in your thoughts to be released and accept a new thought. Channeling is being a receiver for the oneness and all it contains, and then using that information for your growth and expansion, and then sharing with others. Practice gaining access to what is available in the dimensions that exist all around us. So I'm going to give you the example of something I used that was new back in 2017 as a way to channel an entity. So remember, channeling is not just about releasing everything in your head already. It's about creating space so that you can receive something else. You don't have to let go of everything you already know. I like to walk around a lot in a moment of stillness so that I'm not overthinking. Now, there are definitely times that I overthink and I just keep going and going with my mind. That's my OCD. I have that. But if I stay in a space, like if I'm out walking, or if I just wake up in the morning, or I'm just starting to fall asleep, these are times when my mind is ready to receive. And I know that a thought that's coming in is not mine, is not mine. So that's when I say, ooh, it's a message, and I just start spitting it out, right? I don't question it. I don't doubt it. So for those of you listening on my podcast, you're not going to see what I'm doing, but I'm going to explain it very well, hopefully, so that you can understand it. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, I have it on a video and I have it on just audio on my podcast. So you can see it two different ways. You can see me, and you can also just hear the audio version. So if you're listening on the podcast and you want to see what I'm doing with the phone, then go to my YouTube channel, Donna Boyle Medium, and you'll see the last one that was recorded. So channeling, we got out really what it is. And the only way to practice it is just start doing it. Just prime the pump. That's what I was told when I first started channeling. Donna, you have to prime the pump. So you just start speaking. And then eventually you may start to say some things that you know aren't your own. And then you go with that. You let that roll. There's also something I do, which has a lot to do with what I'm going to teach you right now. It's called automatic writing. And the way I teach it is I do right hand, left hand. So dominant hand, non-dominant hand. And you're going to ask a question with your dominant hand when you write. And when you switch to go to your non-dominant hand, you're going to hear something in your mind and you're going to write that down. I teach that, and I'll put the link below on my YouTube channel for the video of that and how you can do that. And this is something that is sort of like that. It's that switch between right and left brain, left and right brain, back and forth, kind of like EMDR. Have you ever heard of EMDR? It's when you sit with a therapist who's certified in EMDR. Not sure what it stands for, but I did that a few times. And you either listen to tick ticks in your ear, tick, 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 or you watch a light go back and forth, back and forth. Again, the same thing as automatic writing going back and forth, back and forth. And what it does is put the mind in a state of, we'll say, no resistance, and just allows for something else to come through. So back to 2017, when I went to work at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York, and I lived and worked there. So you get room and board basically for free, you get paid a minimal amount of money. And I was working at the wellness center, scheduling appointments for people. It was great. It was fun. I was also a medium at this time. So one day, you had to do your own laundry. And in order to do your own laundry, you had to go into this building, which I didn't like. It was just filled with just washing machines and dryers. And there was always somebody there. You could never get a free washer or a free dryer. So you end up spending half the day just doing your freaking laundry. But one morning, my day off, and I said, Laying there in bed, I said, I'm not going to do anything today. I am not going to do laundry today. And I just continued laying there in bed. This was before TikTok and before everything that I was on. So I wasn't on any really heavy into social media. So it's just laying around, just kind of relaxing. All of a sudden, I'm all dressed and I've got my laundry bag in my hand and I'm walking out the door. And I noticed I have no idea how this all happened, how I got up, how I got dressed. It was like I missed that, whether it was 5 or 10 minutes that I got up, got dressed, got my laundry ready, and I was out the door. And I'm like, well, that was interesting. I must be meant to go to do my laundry. Listening, right? I was listening and I allowed it to happen. I didn't doubt it. So I dumped my laundry. Thankfully, there was a washer. I dumped my laundry in the washing machine. Now, what am I going to do? I don't want to walk all the way back to my room because in 40 minutes, I'm going to have to come back. So I decided I'm going to go up to the sanctuary, which is up a pretty steep hill. And I didn't like going up there. My knees were bad at the time, but I kept like feeling this urge to go to the sanctuary. So I go up to the sanctuary. And immediately when I walk in, I start to feel, sense something is in the room with me. I'm going to call it an entity at this time. I'm not going to call it a spirit. It was an entity. It felt like something big. And I wanted to channel it. I just kept feeling, okay, I guess I'm meant to channel this. I'm wondering how I'm going to do it. Thankfully, I was alone in the sanctuary at this time. It's a big room where sometimes there are guests that come and talk. Sometimes you can just go up there. It's open all the time. You can just go up there and meditate on your own. So I'm alone, but I have my phone with me. So I do this. Because remember, I'm used to the left hand, right hand thing. I turn on my voice memo. I ask a question with my dominant hand. I'm holding the phone. I ask a question with my right hand. Hey, is there something here with me? And for some reason now I switch the phone to my left hand, right? That tick, tick, side to side. And I hear this entity speak to me. It's coming out of my mouth. So I record what the entity says. Switch back. I hear what you're saying, but, and I ask another question. Switch hands, and the entity speaks through me using my voice, their words. And I went about that, asking the question, switching. I didn't question it. The biggest thing about channeling, doing any sort of this work, is leave no room for doubt and allow that little space to allow spirit to come in, the universe to come in, your loved ones to speak. You got to allow that. You got to not doubt it. So I continued with that for about 20 minutes, back and forth, back and forth. I do have a blog of my 2 years channeling this entity. It's called The Eye of the Earth. If you just search my blogs, or I'll put it in the post, it's called The Eye of the Earth. I spelt with an I, not EYE, the eye of the earth.wordpress.com. And you can see all my messages from this entity. So again, I'm up there. 10 minutes, I'm doing this back and forth. All of a sudden, somebody walks in. And I can't do this. I can't talk out loud anymore. So I just shut off my voice memo and I go to my notes and I start typing it out. I start typing out more questions from Donna and then replying the answer the entity would speak. Would you like to try that? Find yourself in some sort of quiet space. Typically, you've already practiced a lot, clearing the mind and having that I like to call blank slate of your mind. And try this, prime the pump. Grab your phone, put your voice memo on and say, hello, is there anyone here that would like to speak to me? Switch hands and notice what comes about in your mind and just speak the words. Yes, I'm here. Switch back. I heard that. Would you like to share a message with me? Switch right back. And Donna right now is hearing, you are the light of my world. That's what I just heard in my head. So even me doing this, as I'm explaining it to you, I'm hearing another voice in my head. That's just the way I work. I can hear 1, 2, 3 voices in my head at the same time and be speaking or thinking about something else. That's the practice that I've achieved over the last, we'll say, almost 15 to 30 years of yoga, meditation, and mediumship. So just go back and forth. But remember, if you ask the question, the first question, switch sides with your phone, switch hands, doesn't matter, dominant or non-dominant, doesn't matter. Just start with one hand and switch to the other hand when you want to answer. If you switch and you start thinking in your head, just like when you do automatic writing, this isn't happening, I must be thinking this, it's me, not something else, you've lost it. So stop, take another couple of breaths, and start again, channeling a different way using your phone, any recorded device. If you were to say use a small recorder, you could do that also, just switch the hands. Again, it's just like automatic writing, which I've taught many times before and in a couple of classes, and I teach many students automatic writing. Try this way and let me know if you hear, sense, or feel. So let's say you ask the question, you switch hands, but you see an image in your head. You don't hear words, you see an image. Is that okay? Absolutely. Speak into the phone, your memos, your voice memo, what you see. Okay, I just saw a multicolored hot air balloon rising. Switch back to ask another question. I saw that hot air balloon. Can you tell me what that means? Switch back, and you may see another image, or now you may hear some words. Practice. Practice brings knowing. Knowing brings that complete awareness of whether it's you or spirit, the universe, your loved ones speaking to you. Practice every day. Set 10 minutes aside. Do a couple minutes of breathing, eyes closed, quiet space, and then grab your phone and practice this. I did it for 2 seasons at the Omega Institute. Like I said, I channeled this entity. Fabulous. I didn't always do it this way. I did it, heard it in my head. I typed it out on my computer. For the first summer, I always went to the sanctuary to channel this entity, the eye of the earth. The second summer, immediately following the first, I didn't have to do that anymore. I actually heard the entity say, you don't have to go to the sanctuary anymore, Don. I'm like, great, because I don't want to walk up those stairs again. But it was a great quiet space, obviously. So try this with your phone first. Maybe do some automatic writing too. Try it, practice with it. Allow the knowingness. Okay, so let me just go one step further with the eye of the earth. This is in my blog also. The eye of the earth presented itself to me as literally an eye with wings. And you see there's an eye behind me there. My daughter bought me that. I'm not sure if she knew that for a reason or she just bought me that, but there's an eye in that. So I saw it with an eye with wings. Wings, flappy wings, airplane wings, didn't matter. And about 4 or 5 months into channeling the entity, and one day I'm walking down to the main hall. There was a big workshop going on. It was all chanting. So I just sat outside and listened. And in the walkway in front of me, up to the main hall, there's slate. You know, a slate is just random sizes, random shapes. And that was the walkway up to the steps that I was sitting on. It was the first time I sat there, first time I've been to the main hall because I don't do anything there. So I had no reason to go there. I'm sitting there just kind of with my head in my hand, staring at the slate. And in the slate, someone had put an eye with wings. Someone had etched a stone of an eye, just the image of the eye, and it had like airplane wings attached to it. Every other piece of the stone in that walkway was random, just a chunk. This was something specific. So I had my confirmation that I was channeling an eye with wings. How do I know that? How do I know? What was this proof? This picture in the slate proving to me that someone else had also seen the eye of the earth, had also seen the image of an eye with wings. Where did I go from there? I sent a couple emails around to some people asking who put in that slate. Does anybody know anything about the image there? No one had any answers. Is it possible that no one has noticed that in the slate? I didn't see anything else about it in any of the literature. Spoke to as many people as I could, and no one gave me an answer. It's still there. If you go to the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York, check out the slate. Now, what do I do with that? I continued to channel for 2 years. At the end of the second year, I pretty much got the conclusion of why the eye spoke to me, what the message was for all of us. Again, you can check out my blog on that, The Eye of the Earth. Is that slate still there? Of course it is. How long has it been there? I have no idea. No one can give me a straight answer on that. But I was very excited. You see, you will get confirmation. You will stay open to receive. For some reason, I went to the steps of the main hall so I could sit there and stare at the slate and see the eye of the earth. Otherwise, I don't know if I would have seen it any other time. I would have had to go to that building. And like I said, I don't do anything in that building. There was nothing I had been to in that building. I go to another building. It's a big campus. So let me know if you try this channeling spirit with your phone back and forth and see what happens. Don't be discouraged. Just keep moving forward, keep moving on, keep practicing. Life is about the practice. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining. Take care.